What's up guys, this is Alan again, back with another video. And so Epicurious lately has been releasing a lot of bartending related videos. So I guess I'll be reacting to some of them. This one is called You're Doing It Wrong, How to Make a Dirty Martini. So let's go check this out.
The Dirty Martini is probably one of the most commonly ordered martinis out there. It can be made with gin or vodka. Today, we're gonna make it with gin because that is the traditional way. Nothing wrong with vodka, just not gonna be today.
So I'll give you my experience. Most people, when they order dirty martinis, it's going to be almost always vodka. And the few times it is a gin dirty martini, 99% chance or even higher, it's going to be Hendrick's gin for some reason. I have no idea why. Because Hendrick's is made from cucumbers and roses. Yeah, I can see why cucumbers would work well with a dirty martini because, you know, it's basically a pickle. But roses, like a salty rose.
We're gonna be focusing on two different variations, one shaken and one stirred. And that's really preferential. I usually always ask, do you?
Yeah, this is important to ask because it depends on the brine used. Some brine, it could be very salty. And in that case, you do want to shake it because it might be a little too salty. Some people like it. But of course, martinis in general, you always want to ask. First, you need to ask, do you want it with gin or with vodka? It's like, if somebody orders a steak, you got to ask them, like, do you want, what temperature you want. I feel the same way about martinis. If somebody just says, I want a martini, you really need to ask more questions because there's so many variations. How dirty, how dry? Do you want it with shaken or stirred? So I really think that it's best to ask the guest and get as much information as possible so you don't have to have it returned and have the bartenders make another one. And with dirty martinis, you do want to ask to clarify at least if they want it shaken or stirred and exactly how dirty.
Do you want gin or do you want vodka? How dirty would you like it? Would you like it slightly dirty? Would you like it pretty standard regular dirty? Would you like it filthy dirty? These are very important questions to ask, and I always ask.
So he said the exact same thing that I said. It's the most commonly ordered drink, and it's also the most varied. You know, like if somebody orders a margarita, it's pretty much going to be the standard margarita, a skinny margarita, which isn't a real drink, and probably a Cadillac margarita, even though that hasn't happened that much. The Cadillac margaritas were pretty popular in like the early 2000s. But those margaritas, people usually will tell you exactly what they want. For martinis, I feel that you do have to ask the questions because you really do need to clarify because there's just so many variations.
Ask if they want it shaken or if they want it stirred. And then garnish. Would you like olives? If you have variations of olives, sometimes places have blue cheese olives.
Yep, especially the blue cheese olives. It gives you a chance to upsell. Those little dollars that you add to a blue cheese olive martini, they add up, especially when you offer it. A lot of people, if you don't offer it, of course they're not going to say anything because not every bar has blue cheese olives. But if you offer it, they'll be like, oh shoot, blue cheese olives, yeah. So then you get to upcharge your thing and make a bigger check average.
Sometimes they have wasabi olives, sometimes they have, you know, there's a wide variety of places.
I never seen a wasabi olive.
Typically people like, depending on how salty they want it, it's that salty, briny olive juice. Makes it dirty. Once absolutely filthy dirty, which they will ask for it that way. Typically I go, you know, an ounce and sometimes even an ounce and a half. It can get pretty outlandish there.
Yeah, especially if you put an ounce of brine, you're gonna have to decrease the amount of vodka or gin because this coupe or Nick and Nora only has a certain amount of space it can hold. If somebody does order an extra dirty martini and they are not sitting at the bar, let's say it's a server that puts it in, I'll even put the extra brine on the side. So if it's not dirty enough, they can just add it later on. It just saves them from returning the drink and having you add more olive brine onto the drink.
Bet anywhere from a quarter to a half ounce. Anything over a half ounce is starting to get into the kind of filthy territory.
Yeah, I haven't really heard that term filthy lately. They usually just say extra dirty. So usually when I hear filthy, I actually like 3/4 ounce, I would say that's extra dirty. And if it's filthy, you know, that's talking about an ounce of brine. You know, a martini before being stirred or shaken, it's going to be 3 ounces of undiluted drink before you dilute it. So at that point, I almost will always offer if a guest orders a filthy martini, I'm almost always going to put extra brine into a shot glass or something so they can add more for that same reason.
What I oftentimes will do is I'll just take a little bit of ice and I'll start swirling it in my glass. Some people like to fill it up with ice, with club soda, let it sit. Some people will actually put these.
I wouldn't put club soda. I think the only reason why I would use club soda, especially when you're working at a bar with a gun, is that the club soda does come out faster, but it doesn't change the speed that it will chill the glass.
Glasses and keep them in the freezer, but chilling the glass down is definitely going to help because the colder the martini is, the more enjoyable it's going to be.
It's also very important to chill the glass because there's no ice in the drink. So as soon as the drink is made and poured into the coupe or Nick and Nora glass, it's going to warm up from the ambient temperature. So ideally, it needs to be as cold as possible, especially if the glasses are thicker, because a thicker room temperature glass is going to have a certain amount of heat in it, and it's going to transfer directly into the drink. And alcohol has a very high conductivity, so alcohol warms up, it changes temperature very fast, and that means it'll also warm up very fast.
Once we have our glass chilled, we are going to grab a shaker tin and our jigger. The important thing is we don't want the glass to warm up. So if you're a little slower,
yeah, I would actually not even toss the ice until you're ready to strain the drink into the glass.
So we're gonna give it a nice little shake. I tend to not go probably over 10 or 12 seconds with the shake. We're gonna feel the outside of the glass start to froth. You're gonna feel the ice kind of breaking.
Yeah, that is very cold, especially when the ice actually forms on the shaker like that.
Now we're gonna open the tin up, and this is one of the most important things for this shaken martini is I don't use more than just a single strainer. I like the ice chips to kind of fall into the glass. It kind of keeps this weird like texture that's like the feeling of it being cold, and it's just...
Yeah, I actually don't I actually do this too, because I feel that a lot of people who want their martini shaken, they want it very, very cold. So in that case, I do not double strain a shaken martini because those ice chips will actually help. You know, normally it gets filtered out through the double straining, but for a shaken martini, I usually single strain it because the small little ice chips actually help keep the drink colder for a long period of time.
I'm gonna garnish it with 3 olives today. I think typically standard is somewhere in the 2 to 3, but people will always ask for more if they want more.
So there's a very old superstition to garnish martinis with only odd number. So it's either gonna be 1 or 3. For aesthetics, especially fine dining, I feel that 2 olives looks the most elegant.
Now I'm gonna show you the stirred variation of this cocktail. And today we're gonna use a Yari, but you can also use a pint glass like this one here. It'll really work the same way. You just need a vessel to stir. You don't always have to.
The pint glasses, yeah, if you're a dive bar, I think it's fine. Cocktail bars and fine dining, you really do need to get a Yari or a beaker because without the beak, it's very hard. It can create a mess when you're straining. It'll just go everywhere. But with a beak, it helps you focus the pour and get more of the drink. Also, it looks a lot more elegant.
Want this cocktail stirred versus shaken is really just a textural thing. You know, a lot of times with the shaken cocktail, you get the ice chips in there. Some people don't want it. I think this just makes for a little bit.
Also, some people, they want to taste the spirit, especially if we're gonna go with a expensive gin. If you shake it, some of the aromatics might actually leave there's a lot of dissolved oils in there, and shaking it sometimes will just remove it out of the drink. By stirring it, it not only lowers the dilution, so it keeps the alcohol proof higher, but it also preserves the aromatics in addition to the texture, as he mentions. Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed that video. It's a very technical video, but I think it's kind of important, especially if you want to know why people shake, stir, or how dirty. But yeah, let me know in the comments what you think. Do you guys drink martinis, vodka or gin? Stirred, shaken, any specific brands. Hope you enjoyed the video, and if you haven't done so, don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos, and I'll see you guys on the next one.